Hello and welcome to the Fairy Little Knitting Podcast. I'm Marcia, also known as Fairy Little, and this is my podcast all about knitting. Today I'm going to be talking about some stuff I'm working on, some finished objects, and some stuff I'm planning on, and a little bit of jibber jabber at the end. Places you can find me: I am on Instagram, and I'm also on at Ravelry as Fairy Little, but the best place to get me is, of course, Instagram. I spend more time in there than Ravelry. I use Ravelry as more of a resource than networking, social media aspect. So that's more on the Instagram profile. I'm going to take a second to say thank you to everybody who has recently subscribed and to my previous subscribers who are back to watch another episode. I appreciate all of you and thank you for coming. I have been working on a lot. There's been a lot of knitting over the last little bit, and I will just jump right on into it. So last week I showed you my Pascal Shell that I'm doing. This is the 3-color version, and I'm working on the 1-color version, which is almost done. I have, I think, about 16 rows left, I think. And then it will be all done, and then I'll be able to show you the completed object. I was hoping to have it done, but I just didn't get very much knitting time this week. So this is how large it is. It definitely stretches out when you block it. And there's some good chunks of lace in there. It's a pie shawl. So it starts in the middle and it goes out in a big circle, and it is a lot of fun to knit. It is very meditative, so if you like some knitting that takes your energy and you can't you have to be in the knitting and not really in your outside world, it kind of gives you a bit of a break that way, then this is perfect because there's enough going on that you need to pay attention. There's certain areas where there's enough going on that you need to be really mindful of what you're doing, but it kind of blocks out the space for all the other noise in your world, and that has been really, really nice. It's been very fun to work on. And when this is all done and blocked out, drop my ball. When this is all done and blocked out, it's going to look amazing, and I cannot wait to show you guys because it is. I love it, and it's such a fun knit. Now, the yarn that I am using for this is Sweet Fiber in the denim colorway, and it's in her Super Sweet sock. And I have 3 skeins of it. I'm almost done the 2nd skein, and then I'll be on to the third skein. Now, it does call for 3 skeins. It doesn't use up the full skeins of any of the colors. I'll show you the ones that I used for my original one. So this yarn I dyed myself, and it is a cashmere merino blend yarn. So you can't get this one in this bright pink color. I just dyed it up on my own. And this is Casbah, handmaiden Casbah, 81% merino, 9% cashmere, 10% nylon. Handmaiden is the brand in Casbah. And it's really, really nice to knit with. I'm really enjoying knitting with cashmere these days. So, and the final one is this cute little, there's a little nugget left of this color. This is this one in here. And it is so nice to work with. There wasn't any pooling issues. It's by Noble Ruby Designs, and it's called Do Something Happy, and it's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and there's 400 yards in that, and it's so pretty, so nice to work with. I enjoyed it very, very much. So this one's all cashmere blend, and then this one in the Sweet Fibers is just a sock blend, and I showed you the tag on that one, the superwash merino and nylon. Yeah, so but it has a really nice stitch definition, and her colors are really pretty. Like, there's a depth to the color, and the stitch definition's beautiful. You'll be able to see it even better once it's all blocked out. So I made some changes from the original one, this one to this one. What I did is I added more of these lace panel, like the lace panel sections in here. I changed the math and brought them closer together so there's more of them in the circle. And I think that is going to help with blocking out a little bit easier, because then there's a little bit more give in this space here. As well as this pattern repeats itself up in this area, and I did it slimmer up there as well. So there's more repeats there as well, so it'll give it a bit of a better blockability, if that's even a word. So this has been really fun. I have about this much left on my skein, and I was like I said, I was hoping to have it done. I should have it done in the next couple days, and then I'll block it right away, and that should be good. I'm really excited about that. So the next thing I have been knitting, I did a cast on. We went out of town this weekend, and I stopped at a little store in a little village called Fulder, and they have a general store, which is like a grocery store, liquor store, etc., but it also has a knitting section, so yarn and beautiful things. So I picked up some Madeline Tosh in, it is a bulky yarn, so it is very, very bulky, which is really nice. And I'm just playing with it. I'm doing a brioche stitch, but I think I'm going to take it out and try again, make it smaller. I'm thinking possibly a hat, but I also picked up the needles, which are ChowGoo Premium Stainless Steel in 6mm. And the Madeline Tosh is called Tosh Home, and it's in the charcoal colorway. The one thing that I really like about this little store is their prices on yarn is amazing. So this yarn cost me a lot less than it would have cost in any of the other yarn stores that I've seen it in. So I was very happy with that. I was actually going to see if they had the Mad Tosh smokestack in the chunky that I need to knit a sweater. They did not, which was unfortunate. They had some other yarns there that that could have worked, but I do want to use that colorway. So, but it's really nice to knit with. It's very, very thick yarn. It knits up very quickly. This is going to be pulled off and re-knit even smaller, which is fine. It looks really nice. I think something in this yarn, like a big sweater or something, would be amazing. Yeah, and I'm thinking of just doing a big chunky toque or something, or beanie, I think is what the Americans call it. It's a hat. I don't want it to be very form-fitting. I kind of want it to be a big gushy, slouchy concoction of amazing, and so that's where I'm at. I won't even tell you how many stitches I cast on because I would be ripping that out anyway. The needles are nice to work with. I've knit with ChowGoo's before. I own quite a few pairs, but they don't come without their problems. They're nice to knit with. The cables are really nice. They're very pointy, which is awesome. But my ChowGoo needles, they are the only ones I have that have broken off right there. And I tried to take them back, and I was told that ChowGoo doesn't take returns any longer in that. So I'm usually a little nervous when buying a needle that doesn't come with any sort of warranty, because of course I knit a lot, and I do want my tools to last. So I'm just going to be very gentle with these and make sure that I have a backup pair in that size. And I got one with a really long cable. This way I can magic loop for what I'm doing right now, but then I can use it for a larger project should I want to in the future. Because I've had a few projects that I wished that I had a longer cable for. So that is that. I'm going to now address the elephant in the room. It is a new design that I have. It is being test knit as we speak, and I'm also knitting another version of it. It does not have a name yet, and it's a poncho, but it has sleeves. And so this is my poncho. It has, the back drops down a bit, but there's no reason why you can't wear it either way. It looks amazing with leggings. It is so comfortable. It is, I love it. I love it. It was so nice to knit. It was very easy. Very, very easy. It's a very simple knit. I think the most difficult part would be the putting the sleeves in. I think that's probably the hardest part of it. If you know how to knit and you know how to purl, then this is super easy. It's quite large, so it does take quite a bit of yarn. There's 5 skeins of yarn in here. And the yarn is, go into that right now. Just drop something. The yarn is Manos del Uruguay Milo, which is a merino linen blend. And it's 65% wool and 35% linen. There's 380 yards per skein. So I have written up this pattern so that you can knit it with all the stripes, with just one color with this stripe in there. So it would be two color stripes. I did a version that doesn't have sleeves, so you can knit it without sleeves if you wanted. And it's just this big, wonderfully slouchy, comfy, cozy, snuggle poncho that you can throw over anything. It is very, very oversized, so it can fit a lot of sizes. And the sleeves are knit in a way that they're very stretchy, so they have a lot of room in them. So I've just knit it as one size, but I will give the dimensions of that. And yeah, you can, if you wanted, you could add longer sleeves, but there's notes in there about if you want to add length to your sleeves. The yarn requirements are going to be more depending on how long you want them, etc. And so the needles that I used were high sharps, and they're the ones with the blue cable. And the colors that I used are, so I used the Boreal colorway, which is like a mauvey purpley color. And then the Sarah Kay, and that one is a multi-color. So there's one in here that's a multicolor that pulls all of the colors together. Then I have one here that is in jade, and that's a green. And I have one in the natural, which is the cream color. It's right there. And the amethysta, there we go. And that's the dark purple. That's the color that I used for here, my collar and my sleeves and the bottom. And then there's a stripe of it that goes through each area. It's there's a little bit of interest in here, so there's a couple spots where you just pay attention and see what it does to create a little bit of a texture. So even if you knit it in one color, there's still a little bit of a texture, and you can knit it in just one color as well if that suits your fancy, which is what I'm doing with it right now in my next version that I'm knitting up. I have a couple that I'm going to be working on, and so I've already skeined up and started this one, and it's knit from the top down. So this is the top, and so you start at the top and then you pick up for the neckline. And each different kind of yarn you use is going to respond differently. With the linen, the more you wash it, the softer it gets, the looser it gets. So it's going to get drapier and drapier, and it's very light. It's really nice. It's very nice to knit with and to sit in. This one is a little bit of a heavier gauge than this one. And it is the Barocco Remix Light, and it's 100% recycled fiber, 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So I wanted to make sure that I had something that still included linen in it, because I wanted it to be something that you can throw on in the spring or the fall that's light, offers a little bit of warmth, but you're not going to get overheated in. So I wanted something that breathes well, but also looks, you know, very cozy and relaxed, but also very nice. So that's what I'm working on here, and it is coming along swimmingly. And I have, I think, 2 more sections before I split for the sleeves. So that one is just, it's just still working on it. So that's coming along. That yarn is nice to knit with. It's a kind of a blend of everything. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge, but I like the color of it. It has a bit of a, it has a little bit of like a nep kind of look to it, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? You're saying it right now. I know you are. Tweed. That's it. Tweed. Thank you. It has a bit of a tweed look to it. So it's very pretty, and it is a bit of a denser yarn than this one. This one is a single ply, and this one is plied. This one has more of a loft. It's more airy. And this one's denser, so it has a bit of a heavier feel to it. But they're both really fun to knit with. And I'm looking forward to having one that's just a solid color. And this one will as well have sleeves. And then I'm going to knit up another version that is even lighter, but I'm going to use the same size needles, and I'm going to go for the same gauge. But it is with Madeline Tosh. And I've got these 2 colors, so I'm going to knit it up in these 2 colors. And this is a lace weight yarn, so this is going to be even lighter to wear. And I'm kind of hoping for something that is more of a, like a summertime throw on over your swimsuit at the beach when you're done kind of top. So it's going to be airier. It's going to have probably a lot more drape. I'm going to swatch for it first to make sure that I'm not going to end up with this massive thing that's way larger than I even was expecting. But the gray is in the smokestack colorway, and it's in the prairie line, and it's 100% superwash merino wool, and the blue is Blue Night. So yeah, I think that's what it says. It's handwritten on here, so it's a little bit hard to see. Blue Nile, sorry, Blue Nile. So yeah, so Smokestack and Blue Nile are the colors that it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to casting that on, but I need to get the other one cast off first. And I don't have any name. I don't have a name yet for it. So if you have any suggestions, I'm totally open to suggestions. So I wanted to mention something that I was knitting talking about last time when, on the last episode. And that was knitting with this Haya 9-inch. And somebody on the previous comments on the last episode made a really great suggestion that I hadn't even thought of, and using 2 of these. And I think that would make a big difference for how my hands work. And it makes absolute sense because I'll show you this. I purchased these right before we went away, and they are they're Addy Addy Crazy Trio is what it's called. So that's what it looks like. And this is them. So these are 2mm, and that's what I knit with when I'm knitting socks. But they even have a smaller wire, and there's 3 of them, and these are metal needles, and they're longer. And I haven't used these yet. I'm really excited about casting them on, but I didn't even think of doing this with this kind of needle. So I could even get 1 more or 2 more of these and make my own set of these, because they're the same length when you actually put them together, right? So it just makes sense that you'd be able to do that. And so thank you so much for that suggestion, because I hadn't even thought of it. And that's what I think is so amazing about this community, is that there's so many different ways of doing things, and you don't know until you know. So it's really good to have that information. And I think I'm going to get another 9-inch circular needle in the Haya to use them together, and that'll be perfect for flying and stuff, because then I don't have to worry about the metal being confiscated when I go to certain countries. So thank you again, and I'll be casting these on, and I'll tell you how I like them, because I think I'm going to. I am going to do a prize draw now. So I had a draw on Instagram, and what it is it was to encourage people to follow my Instagram page and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So there's a bunch of new people who this is their first episode, and I want to say a special thank you to everybody who tagged a friend and who entered to win this amazing draw. And I'm going to show you what it is right now. So a year or 2 ago, a year and a half ago, I was sewing project bags, and it was only for a very short period of time, but I sewed up a bunch, and I still have some to finish sewing up. But I thought that doing the ones that I had made as a giveaway would be a really good thing to do, so that I'm using up the project bags that I had made, and then I can go into making some more. And if I want to go back into the Etsy, then I'll do that. It's not on the list right now. I just have way too many things going on, but it also made for a handy little giveaway. So I made this project bag, and it has a little ladybug zipper pull on it, and it has a handle here for you to put on your wrist, and it has a handle here which makes it easier. So the handles also make it easier for zipping up. So, and it just has a white inside so that you can see all of the preciouses. So in this bag, so that's one side, and then on the other side just has jam, little edging there, which I thought was really pretty. I wanted to include that piece there. And so it's got the big panel on the one side and the small panels on the other. And so there is a cute little rooster book for all of your note taking. And so it's got white pages, and it's got some funny little chicken pictures in it, which make me happy. I enjoy chickens. And then there's a little like colored page with a little chick on it. These are just really good for taking notes and for making diagrams and sticking yarn in for color choices, etc. So I thought I'd include that. I'm also including this Zen Yarn Garden. Serendipity DK. It is 90% superwash merino and 10% cashmere. And it's called Into the Woods. And it is in the Mystic Ocean. It coordinates. So it's called Into the Woods, and it coordinates with Mystic Ocean Appletini. So there's coordinating ones that go with this yarn. So it's very beautiful. It does have cashmere in it, so it is so lovely. And it's so soft. This yarn is amazing to knit with. So somebody's very lucky who's going to be getting this. And I also have another yarn giveaway to go with it. And this yarn is by Daydream Yarns, and it was donated probably, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago. And I'm super excited to be giving these away. It is a gradient mini set. There's 10 grams in each mini, and it's 39 yards per skein. And it's the Sea Glass gradient mini set. So, and they're all sock weight. These are all sock weight yarns. But aren't they gorgeous? They're so beautiful, and so, like, if you put these here, I'll show you. So they gradiate so beautifully from one to the next. So you can see the darkest to the lightest, and they just look beautiful together. They are so nice. Her yarn is beautiful. I have a couple of their skeins from her, and this is just such a great little mini set. And mini sets are such a big thing right now, and this set is just so beautiful. And I love the blue-green, the sea glass of it, essentially. And if you're interested in her yarn, you can go to her Etsy shop, which is www.etsy.com/au/shop/daydream yarns. So let's put it there. And it's so beautiful. So, and also the final thing I have in here, well, there's a sucker in here as well, but it's one of my little fairy little pins. And I just reordered my next group of them, which is really exciting. I love them. And it's got the little crocheted booties that I used to make when I first became fairy little. And so it's just like a bit of a homage to my roots as fairy little, so, which I love. And then yeah, inside the little bag there's also a little fairy little tag right there. So that is it. It's such a great giveaway. And so now I'm going to do the draw, and the draw is actually happening from my Instagram feed. So I'm gonna go grab my phone. So the winner of this amazing prize is Dwelch111, who is Donna. So Donna, if you could get a hold of me on Instagram, that would be awesome. And with your mailing address, and I will send this out to you. So there was 2 things. You needed to follow my Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody who has joined and who now is subscribed to my channel. And I am looking forward to many, many more giveaways like this. So just keep tuned to the YouTube channel and also to the Instagram for your opportunity to win. So now I'm on to Jibber Jabber. So if you were just here for all of the knitting goodness, that is finished now. So thank you so much for coming to join me today. And for those of you who are interested in some jibber jabber, then, which is just me talking about what's been going on for me in my personal life and everyday life, then we'll start from here. So this past weekend, I went away to Vernon, which is where my husband's family lives. And we had a great weekend. We stayed at a friend's house, and we went to, there's a science center in Vernon, and so we took all the kids there and had a really good time. And then I went shopping and picked up some stuff for dinner, and I made dinner for everybody. But on the way there, my husband had taken the car, so I was just there on foot. So I walked with the girls to the science center, which wasn't that far. It was only about a 20-minute walk there and back. But I was wearing sandals, and I haven't worn these specific sandals yet this year. And so they rubbed between two of my toes. And so by the time I was walking back, I had some pretty serious blisters between my toes. So they were screaming to just relax for a little while. So it was nice to get those off, and my actual shoes were in the car. So I got them back after Nick got back, but made dinner for everybody. And then the next day, Sunday, we went to Kamloops, and there is I know I've talked about this before. There is a wildlife conservatory there, and it is essentially like a wildlife zoo, but all of the animals that live there were rescued. So they were rescued either as orphans, or they were rescued as injured, or like they were injured in some way so that they couldn't be released into the wild, or they would die or be destroyed. So they have quite a few different kinds of animals that live there. They have I think they have 3 different kinds of bears that live there, and it's really nice to take the kids to this area, because all of the animals that are there are natural to this area because they've been rescued in this area. So there's a couple bald eagles that were hit by cars that were rescued. There's a couple, a few owls that again were hit by cars and rescued. There's a badger there that was orphaned and found as an orphan when, like, 16 years ago or something like that. And so they're not animals that would ever be able to be released into the wild. And they have a really good sized space, and they are fed really well, and they're very healthy and well looked after, which is really nice. Also in this area we have rattlesnakes, and it was really nice to be able to show the kids what an actual rattlesnake looks like, so that if they ever see one, they can back away slowly and not try to be curious as to, like, poking at it or going close to it at all, so they could see the difference in the shape of head of a rattlesnake and a bull snake, and just leave the snakes alone. But but it was good for them to be able to see the difference between the two. And I'm not a big fan of snakes, so that was my favorite part, but it was really good to show them what that looked like as a safety thing. So that was good. It rained, not a lot, but it rained this weekend, and a few areas that we drove through, there was some flooding stuff starting to happen, which is seasonally here. It is the season for that. There's a lot of runoff from the mountains coming down. So I haven't done any sewing. I'm looking at my sewing right now, and I know that I need to just get the pieces pinned together and start sewing, but right at this moment, I just don't have enough time to get going on that. We're still in the middle of our claim. We've gotten some baseboards on. Got my washing machine fixed and put back in the room that it belongs in. So little steps are happening. Hopefully by July, I'm hoping we will be back into that part of the house as part of our living space and sorted. And it just made me realize how much stuff that we have that we don't really need. Isn't it amazing how stuff like that happens when you have to move things? You're like, do I really need this? Because I'm tired of moving it. So yeah, just going through that and moving, cleaning out some stuff, donating some things. I think that's what I'm going to need to do this spring. Yeah, and other than that, I have lots of knitting things I want to do. Needs to be more time in a day. There's a pair of knitted pants that I have on the needles over here that I really want to get to, but there's 3 things I have with test knitters that I just want to get those wrapped up before I go back to anything else. So I'm sorry if the recent episodes haven't interested you as much because there's not a lot of diversity, but it will get diverse again, and I will be casting on some toys and some stuff. So that is going to be happening. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. And that just makes it more of it so people can see my YouTube channel a little bit easier. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing week. Until next time.